Well, hi everybody. Thank you, Srikar, for the presentation, and I'm glad you present about Amazon Web Services. And so, because we are presenting more on Microsoft Azure side of the Kubernetes infrastructure. I'm Thierry. I'm going to present with Jean-François how we industrialized our deployments of Drupal 8 application for our client, the French South region, Occitanie. I will talk about the developer part of the application life cycle, the machine of the developer, and Jean-François, the validation delivery part. The presentation should be around 17 minutes, so we'll have time to answer some questions at the end. Jean-François and I both work for digital service company Sofrasteria in Montpellier. We are both part of the tech team there, and Jean-François is our lead architect, and I'm a software development manager. Let's see why the industrialization of our applications were a concern for our client first. For Occitanie, a French South region of France, we developed Drupal 8 applications that includes a democratic involvement platform, an innovation center website with event registering, and a local product marketplace for high school restaurants. For each application, it is a requirement to deliver the solutions following a qualification acceptance production process. We have to ensure that each solution on each environment is the same, and it should be easy to build a new one quickly. With some technologies, this is made easily, but with Drupal, we had to tackle some issues. At the same time, Drupal was the best to respond to Occitanie's needs. It is open source, large websites uses it, it is natively complete, there's a large community. Our client, when it studied a little bit the CMS options, really liked the web form module for the web for the form for their forms, and it is recommended by the French government as an open source CMS. Our worry is how to save and deploy Drupal persistency throughout all the environments. Drupal persistency is built around three components: the file system with the modules, the themes, and the configurations, the stored in a database. We see the views and the fields and so on. And the entities, either globals when we have to repeat them in all environment, like taxonomies or some menus, etc., or either specific to articles and to the environment, like articles and users and comments and stuff. For the file system persistency, we store in a Git repository only the files needed for the application. Then, using Docker Compose, with a little Docker Compose up, we instantiate our local environment with a Drupal image, a MariaDB database, a Keycloak authentication service if we need it, and a fake SMTP to catch the outgoing emails. So that's the pods we referred here. We bind our file from the project Git repository into the Drupal Docker image. At first, we were using the official image of Drupal, but we encountered some performance problems, so we tried with the Vietnamese image. The Vietnamese images were more efficient and gave us a working base comfortable to go on, even if the main performances issues were elsewhere, but we can see that later. In the Docker file, we used to build a Drupal image from Bitnami's image that we use. In this Docker file, we do two main things. First, we get the image ready. So as Sikar said, to start as quickly as possible, we pre-install Composer dependencies and some other things. Two, we replaced some of the Bitnami default script to be able to tweak the image loading part to install Drupal in French, for example, or to deploy the new project files in the persistent volumes. Now, for the configuration part, we manage the configuration as code thanks to core module config sync and Drush. But I guess you all use it too, use them too, I hope. So we export the configurations using config sync in a config/sync directory to save the exported file of our project repository. We had to change the site unit KD to make possible this import and export on every environment. As the configuration is stored as code, when we change branch, when we install the environment, when we deploy the application, we run a basic script to reconfigure the configuration. You can see it here. The third part is the persistency of the entities. Here, we had a lot of debates on whether or not the project needed to automate the management of the entities. We used Content Sync to initialize a project. It is great, but failed on a few things. The good thing were it works really like config sync. So the processes were easy to use, easy to import and export, and it handles a lot of entities and it handles well as well the files. But we encountered some problem with the references. You see, if there's a content that's referencing a content that referencing the same content, for example, in a simple way, or with users, it's sometimes the case. The modules could not resolve which content to import first, and we've found, especially on the Drupal Commerce, with the Drupal Commerce modules, that some parts of the content, the entities, some of the entities were incompatible with Content Sync. And at last, there's a few pages we had to find and apply to make it work as we wanted. On the other side, we used two feeds to help our client give us the main references and then update them quickly. Feeds work differently. It is nice because we can import structured files through a common format like JSON and CSV, Excel. You can choose between a one-time import or importing a reference that you will update with the time, and there's a complete load of modules like feed temper and other additional modules to answer your needs. But on the problem was that feeds are handled as entities, so we had to find something to handle those. And some file types didn't work well, and our clients didn't like some of the error messages that were unfriendly and unclear for them, a little bit too much technical. This is for the part about the development share of our application. Now I will hand the talk to Jean-François to talk about the continuous integration.
Thanks, Thierry. So the continuous integration. Our continuous integration is divided in 4 stages. The first stage is a build application stage. So in this step, we download node modules, compile the theme based on Emulsify and Atomic Design, and generate the artifact we want to add on Docker image. Then we run the build of the Docker image, and we add configuration, artifacts, and perform a Composer install to download module into the Docker image. After that, we run the static code analysis with SonarQube, check license module with license finder, and the security with dependency check and clear for the Docker image. If we want commit the image, we can push the image into Azure Container Registry. This pipeline is executed at each commit and is verified by the developers and lead tech during the merge request. So the continuous delivery. The first part is presents technical architecture and Drupal pods configuration, and after the deployment stage. So the technical architecture. On the left, we have the Sopra Steria build environment. So it's hosted by Sopra Steria in Sopra Steria data center. And on the right, we have two Azure subscriptions. The first subscription Azure is Sopra Steria subscriptions. It's used to deploy the development before the delivery. And the second subscriptions is customer subscriptions. Each subscription has an Azure Container Registry to save a Docker image, and Azure Kubernetes services to execute container. Azure for PostgreSQL or MariaDB database to save Drupal data is managed services on Azure. And we use Azure Log Analytics to save the application logs. So Jenkins connect to Azure subscription with dedicated backend, download the image into Azure Container Registry, and apply Kubernetes configuration. So we have two types of projects Drupal. The first is based on the Drupal image official. We use PostgreSQL for database, and we make the link with Kubernetes secrets. The Drupal configuration is stored on the config maps. To save file, we use Azure File Managed Services. And to link between Azure File and the container, we use Kubernetes persistent volume claims. In this project, we use also a Redis cache to performance. After this project, we change technical stack to pass on the Drupal Bitnami stacks. The main change concerns storage. We use Azure Disk instead of Azure File. The inconvenience on these solutions is the impossibility of using Azure Disk with two Kubernetes pods. So the next step for us is to test Azure File Premium with two pods. We have changed the storage volume because we have a performance issue on the tweak cache in Azure File because Azure File have not good performance in input and output. So we have used Kubernetes volume memory to save tweak cache in the cluster. So, and the last namespace is a maintenance pod, is used to redirect user during the update on Drupal container. We have 12 stages to deploy our container. The first step is prepare. So we select the image to deploy, and Jenkins updates the Kubernetes configuration before the deployment. After that, we log in into Kubernetes, and we redirect user to maintenance page before apply the new Kubernetes configuration to deploy the pods. When the pod is available, we run a configuration script Drupal update with our delivery. And when the update is complete, Jenkins removes the redirect to allow users to access on Drupal. We can load tests to test the application performance if is needed.
Well, thank you, Jean-François. As a conclusion of our Drupal CI/CD process with Kubernetes, first, the problem we met. The first thing was a long delay with Vietnamese image to start the Drupal image. Like sometimes it lasts like up to 4 or maybe 5 minutes when we have an important update of Drupal modules or core version. Partly due to applying so the Drupal configurations on start. On start too, we had to move the new project files in the persistent volumes. So this was made by modifying Vietnamese default scripts, which is not good because we have to review our script every time Vietnamese has a new version. But this still answers our needs and our client needs with an accurate replication of the environment from the dev laptop to the production server. This was a great point with automatic delivery, with code validation on our processes, with an automated developer environment to get the new collaborator up and running easily, and with a resilient and robust Kubernetes infrastructure. And we still want to explore a few things. Like Jean-François said, the Azure Storage Account Premium can help us to be able to scale Vietnamese Drupal image and the Drupal data to persist variable on the new Vietnamese images can help us choosing the granularity of the persistency of the file's persistency, so we don't have to copy the changes from the theme or the changes from the modules every time we start the new pod, the container. So that's it for our presentation. Oh, sorry, it's pretty fast. So if you have some question, please write it, and we are open to talk with you about our experience. There's two questions here. I'm going to read it and try to understand them at the same time. The pipeline looks lovely. How come there aren't any automatic unit integration functional test there? Okay, you got us on this one. We on our projects we didn't develop a lot of custom modules or functionalities. So we didn't do unit tests. We like have two custom modules in most of them. So we use the test from the modules itself. But two, we have a process to validate the interface internally of our company, and it's not included in the CI/CD here, automated CI/CD. It is manually done on our side. I hope this answers your question. And can you please elaborate again on how you mitigate the PVC file access performance issues? Maybe Jean-François, you can detail a little bit this part.
We used a type of volume on Kubernetes. It's a memory volume, so the volume is add on the namespace and is stored in directly in node memory. So we have the best performance like Azure File. Azure File is a network mount network. So we have latency with network, and the I/O our subscriptions is not good. So when we write the PHP cache, we have a latency.
Okay. Joshan, is the answer complete for you? Okay, I don't know, but so, and that's it. I hope I'm very glad. Thank you, Joshan. I hope, and I'm very glad we could share our experience on this, and I hope you could take some things and for you, and we are available for further chats if you need to contact us. I wish you to have a good meal, a good break, a good lunch break. I guess we're done with that part. And have a good day at the Drupal conference.